We're here with you now. It is nice to come together in this way. You're knowing what you're wanting? Sort of. Kind of evolves, doesn't it? It's going to change as the time goes by, because as we tune together, meaning you'll come into alignment with your broader self, your inner being, your comprehension of where we're at in terms of this unfolding, your alignment, your calibrating to your inner being will bring you clarity. And then not only will what we're talking about make more sense, but the next question that you hatch will occur. That's why we call it co-creating at its best. We didn't come with just a set of phrases that we want you to hear and take in. We came with knowing of where you are in relationship to all that you want, in relationship to all that you have actually already become vibrationally. And so everything that we offer here is to assist you in closing that gap between the asking and the attracting of the process of everything that you want. There's nothing that is off limits here in terms of conversation. We are ready for whatever you are ready for. A bigger question is, are you ready for what you're asking for? In other words, if you're really all wadded up in the absence of something that you want, sometimes it's a bigger gap and harder for you to hear the answer. Sometimes as you relax, trusting that whatever it is that you're wanting to figure out, whatever progress that you're wanting to make in terms of your vibrational movement into more alignment and less resistance. Esther discovers resistance in herself every single day. And it shocks her because she's been at this for years, but her life keeps evolving and new things keep occurring and new combinations of co-creation keep happening. So she keeps needing to refine not only her intention, but her own relationship with her intention. She realizes every day that she's got some locked-in habits of thought that don't serve her anymore, that maybe served her at one time, but not today because her asking is different. And so what we're really talking about is this path of least resistance or path of more allowance is the same thing, although they feel different. Both the path of least resistance and the path of more allowance are you moving yourself more in the direction of what you want. And sometimes you're moving through quite a bit of resistance. So it's a path of less and less and less resistance. Sometimes you don't have much resistance. So it's a path of more and more and more allowing. In other words, it's the same spectrum. It's just that the allowing part feels way better. And that's what we want to help you find your way to. Life is supposed to be fun for you. It is not supposed to be a struggle or a challenge. It's certainly not a test. You came as creators and you want to create. And we want you to feel your power in that. And so we are eager to get right to it. We know that many of you are really up to speed with where this conversation is. Many of you are so up to speed with what you want that you feel quite satisfied with the way your life is going. And that's really a good place to be, because there are always new things that are hatching, sometimes that you're not even aware of, that the better you feel, the more they just open for you. So it feels like you're just the luckiest person on the planet. And of course, it's not luck. It's vibrational alignment. But to those who are watching you, who don't really understand how this works, you look lucky. You look fortunate. You annoy them sometimes. So we're eager to get right to what you want. Are you ready? All right, so just take it easy and enjoy the unfolding. We can affirm that it's going to be a good one. That's who you all are. We're going to start. It's good. Just pointing it at you and giving you a chance to catch your breath.
Thank you. I appreciate this teaching in many, many ways, but one of them is that you help us endlessly to find yet another spotlight focus.
Because you are endlessly evolving. You're endlessly finding yourself in a place you've never been before. Esther's sweet daughter was talking to Esther's sweet grandson, who happened to be Esther's sweet daughter's son. And she was fussing at him in some motherly way. And he was irritated about her fussing. And she backed right up because she didn't want to upset him further. And she said, I'm sorry, honey, but in the same way that you've never been a person this age having this experience, so you are having some growing pains. I've never been a mother with a son having that situation either. It's new to both of us. So we each could cut each other some slack because this is a new experience and we're both trying to find our balance here. And so you're constantly in a state of becoming. And so we adore having a new discussion and another and another and another and another. You never get it done. You're not ever going to get it done. Don't let that discourage you. Let that enliven you, because having something that you're asking for, someone's life force through you. And if that ever stopped, and it can't, because then you'd be dead and there is no dead. You can't stop being. And so it's all good. We're having a very nice time with all of you.
I've written a couple of references to quotes from last couple of workshops.
Yeah.
Last time you spoke about the path of most comfort. And you said many things, there are many things that inform your decision. And one of the phrases you said, if you, for example, don't have much money, you adjust your knob accordingly. You spoke about like a knob in the shower.
We've been told we should call it a dial or a lever rather than a knob. But Esther's got a doorknob. Do you have a doorknob? Esther's got knobs on her cabinet. She even looked it up online, and they still call them knobs.
That really spoke to me in the path of most comfort. And here's my question. Say if there's not enough money, adjust. Does adjust mean spend less or change the thought?
Both. But sometimes it's easier to change the thought because you are physically focused and rather action-oriented. Then sometimes a soothing action can go further than trying to find a thought that soothes. But if you can't find a soothing action, then of course find the soothing thought. Do anything and everything you can to soothe yourself. What you're talking about here is, we think, an advance because of the continuation of your questions. We think it's a new, fresher, easier to be practical and get your hands around way of talking about this. It came from a question that Esther posed after having a hard time in a hotel shower of adjusting the temperature just right. Very sensitive knob, and it was either too hot or too cold. It took her a while to get it comfortable. She was calibrating there. Sort of occurred to her, and it excited her as she found it. She found the comfort of the temperature. So then we took it a little further, and we said, if the Bose headphones are too loud, you turn them down. If you can't hear, you turn them up. Same with your glasses, or bringing something nearer or further in order to bring your sight into focus. In other words, you are used to calibrating for your comfort all the time. But so often, you haven't thought of calibrating your thought for the comfort of the thought. You're so practical, it seems to you so often that you just have to deal with that. But the problem is with dealing with something that makes you uncomfortable, putting up with it, just sucking it up and taking it, without adjusting your vibrational, emotional comfort knob, puts you in a place of feeling a larger part of your life than you realize, an emotion that indicates you're blocking what you want. You are absolutely, every time, we're not kidding you, justified in your discomfort and in your wanting to push that whatever it is away from you. You're justified. But it doesn't work in an attraction-based universe, because you can't push something away without focusing on it. And when you focus upon it, you call it to you. So you're working against yourself. And so if you make how you feel a higher priority than whatever it is that you're sure you're right about, so that you're willing to adjust your thoughts to make it more comfortable. If you could care more rather than being right, and we get why you want to be right. You've been banging around for a long time and you've been coming to your own conclusions, and it's appropriate for you to have your own preferences and evaluations and opinions. We're not asking you to give yourself up. We're just asking you to choose more of what you do want and spend less time focusing on what you don't want. And along that way of self-discovery, care more about how you feel. Care about feeling good rather than about being right. Because you can be both. You are right about what you want. You are the rightest, the very most right person about what you prefer and about your certainty that you should have it. You're right about that. You should have it. But so often when you feel indignant or misunderstood or invisible or not respected, you're not a match to what you deserve. You're a match to its opposite. That's why it feels so sucky. Where if you decide that you're going to adjust your comfort knob, then you will find the vibration that is a match in your point of attraction to what you want. That makes sense to you, doesn't it? You can't feel bad and be in the moment letting what you want in. Never. Never, ever, ever. Every time you feel bad, even if you're right about feeling bad, that's just not right. That's just not right. There was so much noise in the room next to Esther, and then she discovered that it wasn't people staying here, it was hotel staff using that room sort of like a break room or a meetup room or something. And at first she thought, wait a minute, because she's right. That's sort of a dumb idea, really. But then she thought, so, am I going to make a fuss about this? No. Thought about it for a minute, but then no. Are they really bothering me? No. Are they unkind with each other? No. Are they positive in their interaction with each other? Yes. Laughing, loud, having fun. All the things I'm a match to, Esther thought. And then she thought, I'm less lonely now that I have my friends next door. There is always a way that you can soothe yourself with your thoughts, with your choosing of what you're focused upon. And when you do that, then you're in the receiving mode. And when you feel, even for a moment, that someone is asserting something into your experience and you are out of control and you just have to take the bad news or the bad experience, you are so far out of alignment with what your inner being knows about you that you've blocked all the good stuff for now, even in your rightness, even in your opinionness.